we're going to take a look at this statement that Mike DeWine, the governor of Ohio, made. Mike DeWine is defending Haitian immigrants. He says that they, quote unquote, came to work. Now, unless there was some prearranged agreement or some prearranged conversation, which some people are saying could possibly have been, I don't know how you could just make that assumption unless they've interviewed some of these people.
Governor Mike,
which I'm sure that they have. But it's just very interesting because at the same time, there's a lot of the politicians who are saying they had no idea where these people came from. And if you guys recall, this immigration accumulation in Springfield, Ohio, has been taking place over a period of years. This isn't something new. So how they don't know what's going on or why these people came or where these people came from, and then to turn around and in a separate press conference say these people, quote unquote, came to work, that right there is a contradiction and it's conflicting. Let's take a listen to what this says.
To Republican Governor Mike DeWine of Ohio, whose state has been in the spotlight this week. I know you are a Trump supporter. And Governor, let's start with that poll. Donald Trump did not make any significant gains after that debate. Kamala Harris is ahead among likely voters, 52 to 46. Did he miss an opportunity at that debate?
Well, he's going to do well in Ohio. He's going to win Ohio by a big margin. That's what we're looking at, of course, in Ohio.
Well, he needs to do more than that. So did he miss an opportunity in that debate?
Well, I'll tell you what, ABC didn't miss an opportunity to do an unfair 2-on-1 debate where Trump had to debate not only the moderators, but Kamala Harris. So I would go as far as to say ABC didn't miss an opportunity. And I don't know if I was Trump, if I would have ABC host a debate with me and another competitor again. I don't know if I would, judging on how this debate went down. And what's amazing about it is that you don't see more people saying anything about the blatantly obvious bias that ABC had towards Kamala Harris. It's just interesting.
Look, I think he's always better off talking about the issues that really impact Americans. I think the economy is always the most important thing. The inflation, these are the things that I think are bread and butter that he should be talking about.
And I, of course, you remember what he did talk about. You have said that you don't oppose the program that allowed some 15,000 Haitians to migrate there in Ohio, in Springfield, Ohio. But former President Trump and J.D. Vance, who you support, have doubled down on baseless claims that former President Trump made at the debate. Let's listen to that.
Now, the claims that Trump made at the debate are claims that J.D. Vance said were called into his office, right? So these claims are coming from things that some people in the community said, right? They're also basing these claims off of some of the clips that have come out from city council meetings. Let's continue.
Again.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
And here's a question I never thought I would have to ask, but do you see any evidence as governor of the state that Haitian immigrants are eating pets?
No, absolutely not. That's what the mayor said. That's what the chief of police has said. I think it's unfortunate that this came up. Let me tell you what we do know, though.
So now, I want people to pay very close attention to everything that's gone on so far in this first 2 minutes. Mike DeWine supports Trump. Mike DeWine supports J.D. Vance. Mike DeWine said that as of right now, according to what he has, him and the city officials of Springfield do not have, quote unquote, evidence of these, quote unquote, pet eating claims. Pay very close attention because that's going to be important.
what we know is that the Haitians who are in Springfield are legal.
Shout out to AW1 and shout out to DJ Elmo. What's good with y'all? Yo, AW1, make sure that you leave a comment after a video so I can get you rinsed up. Real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. We got 9 people watching. If everybody could take a moment, smash that like button, that'd be great. Also, if you guys haven't shared the stream, make sure you guys take a moment, share the stream to your social media.
They came to Springfield to work. Ohio is on the move, and Springfield has really made a great resurgence.
So now this part here is kind of weird, right? Because if you listen to the original videos that came out from the city officials, everybody is saying they don't know why all these Haitian migrants came there. They're saying they don't know how they got there. They're saying that this is all a surprise. It's clearly not a surprise to Mike DeWine, because Mike DeWine is saying they quote unquote came there to work. Now, the interesting thing about this is that the quote unquote everybody comes somewhere to work, that's the same blanket statement that's always used as a blanket statement to deal with quote unquote any migrant. We've seen this throughout. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down.
With a lot of companies coming in, these Haitians came in to work for these companies. What the companies tell us is that they are very good workers. They're very happy to have them there.
Now, another question. Mike DeWine clearly is aware of quote unquote some companies that these Haitian migrants came to work for. Did these companies go and recruit these people? Did these companies make some type of deal and bring these people in? Did these companies advertise jobs and reach out specifically to these people and bring them to the communities based on knowing that there would be public funds or some type of public aid to help these people integrate in? We don't know. But one thing that we do know is that Mike DeWine is making the assertion, quote unquote, these people came to quote unquote work. He didn't say these people are quote unquote fleeing persecution. He didn't say that. Now, is it possible that that could be the case? It is possible, but I haven't interviewed any of them to be able to say that with 100% certainty. So what's interesting about it is how you go from quote unquote not knowing where these people came from to all of a sudden now, quote unquote, we know that they came to work. Did they interview these people? Can we look at the interviews? Can we see the transcripts from the interviews? That would be nice. That would be a start. But what we have right now is conflicting information from the media. And if you've been paying attention to the migrant crisis, throughout the entire migrant crisis, the one thing that has been consistent is the media inconsistencies. If you guys would agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree with that, give me a thumbs down.
And frankly, that's helped the economy. Now, are there problems connected? Well, sure. There's when you go from a population of 58,000 and add 15,000 people onto that, you're going to have some challenges and some problems. And we're addressing those. We're working on those every single day. Primary care is essential. The other thing we're working a lot on is driving. We have Haitians who, frankly, many times have not driven before.
That driving is a huge problem. The driving, if you ask me, despite the fact that in the video we just watched, Abba and Preach downplayed a lot of the driving issues. The driving issues are such an issue that the governor decided to talk about them, right? I would have talked about the driving issues. The driving issues are a thing on this page that I've asked the question about. I think it's kind of odd that these increases in accidents, which according to the media has been an increase of 8 to 10 accidents per day, not even causing any issues with the pricing of insurance or the quote unquote insurability of people insureds within Springfield. And also I'm trying to figure out, because in Ohio, it's illegal to drive without car insurance. I'm trying to figure out how the migrants who are getting temporary driving permits and how they're going from that to getting driver's license. How are they then getting insured? And the premium has got to be just astronomical. How are they affording the car insurance premium? I don't know. These are all questions that I've been asking.
We need to get more driver's training, and we're working on that. So these are things that
I don't think that they need to get more driver's training. I don't know if this is true or not, but from an article that I read from the New York Post, where the woman was talking about her mother-in-law that got deleted by a Haitian migrant. According to her, the requirements for Haitians driving is not as strict as it is for the American people who have to get a license in the state of Ohio. Now, I got a license in the state of Ohio. We have to take a certain amount of driving hours, and we also have to take a written exam as well as an actual exam of driving. When you have a temporary permit, you're only supposed to be driving with a licensed driver in the passenger seat. I don't know what's going on down there. I don't know if the requirements are different. I don't know any of that. But one thing that I do know is that if everybody went through the same driving training that's required for a driver's license, the test that allows you to obtain a license should be the determinant on whether you're competent or whether you're not. For whatever reason, it seems like that test is not adequately testing the migrants if there's this increase of car accidents coming specifically from the migrants. It would seem like the test is not adequately testing their competency. I don't know why that would be. I don't know if they're getting leniency. I don't know if they're just passing the test and then not applying what they have learned in the class to the road. I don't know what the case is. But one thing that we can't argue with is that if there's this high rate of accidents, the test is not properly gauging the competencies of these people who are taking it. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. That's one thing that we can say. That's one thing that can be proven with data. That's one thing that if somebody brought the data, things wouldn't be the clown show that they are right now. But what's interesting about it is that not very many people are talking about that. What most people are talking about are the quote unquote rumors, which is bizarre.
Are working on. Springfield is moving forward. I've always felt that, and as the governor of the state of Ohio, we want people who want to come here who are legal, where they come from another state or another country, who want to work.
So Governor, let me.
That is really moving forward.
So bottom line is you are asking for federal help. No one was eating any pets in Springfield, Ohio. So what would you say to Donald Trump for bringing
So
up
I want you guys to pay very close attention. ABC is not concerned about the migrant crisis at all. They're not concerned about anything. The only thing that they're concerned about is attempting to get Mike DeWine, who's a Republican, to speak out negatively against Trump. I think Mike DeWine has tried to avoid that particular issue as far as this discussion, and he's just trying to lay out the issues that are going on, at least how he feels they are. And the news lady is not concerned about that whatsoever. The only thing that she's concerned about is getting him to say something negative about Trump and being able to attach that as a quotation, not about solving the issues that are going down in Springfield. She is doing the exact same thing as the people who are pushing misinformation are doing. They're falsely making equivalences, making statements with the motive of simply pushing a narrative and not with the intent on actually coming up with any solutions or fixing a problem.
those baseless stories? Is it responsible for a presidential candidate, the former president of the United States, to make those baseless claims?
Look, there's a lot of garbage on the internet. And, you know, this is a piece of garbage that was simply not true. There's no evidence of this at all. And look, here's what we're starting to see.
But I want you to address what you would say.
You guys see that, right?
Okay. But I do want you to address what you would say to Donald Trump.
Yeah. There are hate groups coming into Springfield. We don't need these hate groups. I saw a piece of literature yesterday that the mayor told me about from purportedly the KKK. Look, Springfield is a good city. They are good people. They're welcoming people. We have challenges every day. We are working on those challenges. Haitians are culturally, my wife Fran and I have seen this when we've been down in Haiti. The education is prized. So when you look at all of these things, people who want to work, people who value their kids, who value education, these are positive influences on our community in Springfield. And any comment about that otherwise, I think is hurtful and is not helpful to the city of Springfield and the people of Springfield. This is a state on the move. It's a city on the move. These Haitians can be part of this, but there are challenges. And, I've talked to people at the White House. We need additional assistance. I think when you
Governor, I did let you talk there for a few minutes. I do want to go back to this. You had threats there in Springfield. Hospitals had to close. Schools had to close because of bomb threats. You are a huge supporter of J.D. Vance. He spread this conspiracy. 11 million people saw it on X.
Look,
is there a connection between threats to your state and what President Trump said and what J.D. Vance is doing online?
Now, I want to ask you guys how you all feel about that. Do you all feel that there's connections to the threats that are being made against Springfield, Ohio, and the rhetoric of J.D. Vance and Donald Trump? If you all think that there are, give me a thumbs up. If you guys think that there's not, give me a thumbs down. And shout out to everybody that's watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you all who's there. If you guys could take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys could take a moment, hit the bell, and please share the stream to your social media and tag someone who you know that's interested in these type of topics. I greatly appreciate it.
I think these discussions about Haitians eating dogs and cats and other things needs to stop. We need to focus on what is important. What is important is that we get primary care health to everyone in a very growing city.
I think that everything needs to be talked about, and what can be proven needs to be proven, and what needs to be disproven needs to be disproven, and it needs to be done honestly. I don't think any one particular thing needs to quote unquote stop being talked about. I think what needs to be done is a separation of fact and a separation of fiction, and that can only be done by quote unquote talking about it, not by not talking about certain things that make everybody uncomfortable.
That we do other things in regard to housing. These are kind of basic things that we need to do. We need to focus on those and not this discussion about Haitians eating dogs. It's just not helpful. And again, these people are here legally. They're here legally, and they want to work.
Now, as far as them being here legally, as we all know, that whole quote unquote legal thing, there's a difference between quote unquote being here legally now and entering the country illegally, and you're here legally now because the requirements of temporary protected status have changed. That's something that a lot of these people are not mentioning either, which is also a fact. Whoops. Sorry about that, guys. I think we was right about right there. Let's see.
You are a huge supporter of J.D. Vance. He spread this conspiracy. 11 million people saw it on X.
Look,
is there a connection between threats to your state and what President Trump said and what J.D. Vance is doing online?
I think these discussions about Haitians eating dogs and cats and other things needs to stop. We need to focus on what is important. What is important is that we get primary care health to everyone in a very growing city. That we do.
Let me ask you guys this question. Shout out to Win Lose the Rug. What's good with it, bro? Let me ask you this question. If people stopped talking about this, like Mike DeWine wants them to, how would we ever get to the bottom of whether these accusations are true or these accusations are false? Shout out to DJ Elmo. DJ Elmo says it's called manufactured consent. an individual spreads negative rumors in hopes civilians will act like militias to harm those groups the rumor is about. I agree 100%. If you guys agree with DJ Elmo, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with DJ Elmo, give me a thumbs down. I'm going to put this out here. I am absolutely 110% against any form of misinformation spread. Any form of misinformation spread. If there is a problem and there's a legitimate problem and it's a true problem, if your problem is based in factual information, you have no reason and no excuse to spread mis or disinformation. The only reason why someone would act like a complete clown and spread misinformation is in order to get the entirety of the conversation completely diluted and watered down so that it's not discussed anymore and turns into a complete joke. Anybody spreading mis or disinformation, that's how I'm looking at them. I'm looking at them as somebody that really truly doesn't have a problem with any of this, and they just want to muddy up the waters for their own personal benefit. Because there's so much stuff to talk about in regards to the migrant crisis. I talk about it on 3 different YouTube channels. And I've never spread one iota of misinformation. And if I've ever gotten any misinformation or incorrect information from the media, I do my best to clarify it when the clarification or corrected information comes my way. When people spread misinformation, they only spread misinformation with a motive. And if you ask me, the only way to ever figure out what is versus isn't misinformation is not to not talk about it, but to talk about it to get all the way down to the bottom of the facts. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down.
Things in regard to housing, these are kind of basic things that we need to do. We need to focus on those and not this discussion about Haitians eating dogs. It's just not helpful. And again, these people are here legally. They're here legally and they want to work, and they are in fact working. And when you talk to the employers, what the employers tell you is, you know, we don't know what we would do without them. They are working, and they are working very hard, and they're fitting in with our native.
And I think another thing that the employers are not saying is that they're probably undercutting on the pay and paying those people a lot lower wages than they would pay the people in the community. I wouldn't be surprised if that was going on either. Now, again, this is an assumption. I'm assuming this. I'm not saying that as a statement of fact. I'm saying that that's probably what's going on.
People from Springfield who have been working in this shop or working in this manufacturing company for a long, long time. So that's what we need to focus on. And, you know, this idea that we have hate groups coming in and this discussion just has to stop. We need to focus on moving forward and not dogs and cats being eaten. It's just ridiculous.
Also on Tuesday night, Trump refused to accept again the 2020 election results. He told false stories, as you noticed, and falsely claimed that he ordered National Guard troops, 10,000 Guard troops on January 6th. So how do you square all of this with your support for Donald Trump? Has it softened in any way?
Look, I said before, we knew who the nominee was going to be. I would support the Republican nominee for president.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me, but if I'm not mistaken, I think Mike DeWine actually ran for president in 2016 against Donald Trump. Somebody correct me on that if I'm wrong or if I'm right. I'm pretty sure Mike DeWine ran. Of course, he didn't get the Republican ticket. Trump did, but I'm pretty sure that happened.
I am a Republican. I think if you look at the economy issues, and these are issues that I think the American people are most concerned about, I think that Donald Trump is the best choice.
So you would advise him to keep talking about that and not pets in Ohio?
I think you have to, if you talk about things that people really care about and the things that are important and things that a president can have a real impact. Now, he can also talk about, and of course he does, and both candidates do, all 4 candidates do, about immigration. Look, these are legitimate problems that we have on the border. I'm not minimizing that at all. And those are legitimate arguments where the vast majority of the American people agree with Donald Trump. and not the vice president. But what's going on in Springfield is just fundamentally different. These people are here legally. They came to work. These are good people. These are hardworking people.